People consistently spend more on a card than they do with cash for the exact same purchase. That's not a guess. It's one of the most repeated findings in behavioral economics. And it's also the entire reason a decades-old money trick has quietly turned into one of the biggest trends in personal finance. Somewhere in the last few years, cash stuffing turned into one of the most watched trends in personal finance. Millions of people counting bills, sliding them into labeled envelopes, watching a binder fill up week by week. But almost none of those videos actually explain why it works. Is it really about the cash? Do you have to give up your debit card? And is it just a trend? Or is there something real underneath it? There is. It's called the envelope method. It's decades older than the trend. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to set it up this week. Cash or no cash. Here's the whole system in one sentence. At the start of every pay period, you divide your money into labeled categories. And once a category runs out, spending in that category stops. That's it. No app, no spreadsheet formula, no complicated math. Groceries gets an envelope, gas gets an envelope, eating out, entertainment, personal spending, each one gets its own envelope, filled with exactly what you decided it gets, and nothing more. When the groceries envelope is empty, you don't dip into the gas envelope. You wait until the next paycheck refills it. That single rule, a hard stop, not a soft suggestion, is the entire engine behind this method. Here's the part almost no cash stuffing video explains. Why does this actually change behavior? There's a concept in behavioral economics called mental accounting. It means people don't treat money as one big interchangeable pool. They treat it differently depending on which mental bucket it's assigned to. $100 sitting in your checking account feels abstract. $100 sitting in an envelope labeled eating out feels like a limit you can actually see. That's also why physical cash changes spending more than a card does. When you swipe a card, there's no visible drop. Your balance just becomes a number you check later. When you hand over cash, you feel the stack get thinner in real time. Study after study on payment methods shows people consistently spend more on cards than they do with cash for the exact same purchases, because cash creates what researchers call payment pain. A small, real psychological cost that a card removes. The envelope method isn't a gimmick. It's a deliberate way of making that boundary between categories physical and visible. So your brain treats grocery money and fun money as genuinely different pools because once they're in separate envelopes, they are. Let's build yours. 5 steps. Step 1. Separate your fixed bills from everything else. Rent, utilities, minimum debt payments. These usually don't get envelopes. They're automatic. They're the same every month, and stuffing cash for a wire transfer doesn't make sense. Envelopes are for the spending that actually varies. Step 2. Find your real numbers. Look at the last 1 to 3 months of your actual spending in groceries, gas, dining out, entertainment, and personal spending. Not what you wish you spent, what you actually spent. This step is where most people quietly sabotage the whole system before it starts, by guessing instead of checking. Step 3. Assign an amount per category per pay period. If groceries actually ran you $400 a month and you're paid every 2 weeks, that's $200 in the groceries envelope each check. Step 4. Fund the envelopes at the start of the period. Cash if you're doing it the traditional way. If you're not, more on that in a minute. Step 5, and this is the one rule that makes or breaks the whole thing. When an envelope is empty, spending in that category stops. Not try to slow down. Stops. The temptation to borrow $5 from the gas envelope because the groceries envelope ran dry on day 9 is the single most common way people quietly dismantle this system without realizing it. Whatever's left over at the end of the period doesn't just vanish. It can roll into savings or start what's called a sinking fund, a category specifically for the expenses that don't happen every month but you know are coming. Car repairs, holiday gifts, annual subscriptions. We'll cover sinking funds properly in an upcoming video, but keep that phrase in mind. Let's make this concrete. Same income, same job, same $2,400 a month set aside for groceries, gas, dining out, and everyday spending. Sam keeps that money in one checking account and pays for everything with a card, the way most people do. Priya splits the same amount into 5 labeled envelopes at the start of the month and stops spending in a category once it's empty. By day 20, Sam has no real sense of how that money is split across categories. It's one number going down, groceries, coffee, and a few why-not purchases all blended together. Priya knows exactly where she stands in every category, because each one either hit its limit or didn't. By the end of the month, Sam's overspending on dining out quietly got absorbed by underspending on gas, until a car repair bill shows up one month and there's nothing left anywhere to cover it. Priya's dining out envelope ran dry on day 18, twice this year. That's not a failure. That's the system doing exactly its job, telling her early in a way one blended bank balance never would. Same income, same budget. The only real difference is whether that money was tracked as one number or five, and that difference is the entire reason this method works. Three things break this method almost every time, and it's worth naming them so you don't repeat them. First, treating it as a one-time experiment instead of something you rebuild every single pay period. The envelope method isn't a challenge you complete, it's a system you run continuously. Second, sizing envelopes off hope instead of history. If you set your dining out envelope at $50 because that's what you wish you spent, but you've actually been spending $200, you're not budgeting, you're setting yourself up to fail by day 3. Third, borrowing between envelopes. The entire mechanism depends on the boundary being real. The moment you let yourself move money between categories mid-period, you've quietly turned 5 separate limits back into one big pool, which is the exact problem this system was built to solve in the first place. Here's the part that matters most if you've been put off by the idea of carrying cash. The envelope method doesn't require physical cash. What it requires is a hard boundary between spending categories, and there are ways to get that boundary without ever touching a bill. Most banks now offer free sub-accounts or pockets. You can label exactly like envelopes, groceries, gas, fun money, and split your direct deposit straight into them. Some people use separate prepaid cards per category instead. Budgeting apps can simulate the same envelope structure digitally while your money stays on a normal card. The mechanism, mental accounting, a visible limit per category, survives the switch to digital, and it comes with real advantages actual cash doesn't have. No risk of losing an envelope, no theft risk, purchase protection, and spending that still builds your credit history if you're using a card tied to sub-accounts. Physical cash stuffing is popular because it's visual and satisfying to film, but it is not a requirement for this method to work. The envelope method isn't a competitor to other budgeting systems, it's the enforcement layer underneath them. If you're running a 50-30-30 budget, the envelope method is exactly how you actually hold the line on your wants category day to day. If you're building sinking funds for irregular expenses, envelope leftovers are one of the simplest ways to fund them. If you've been overspending on cards without noticing until the balance shows up, if you're paid irregularly and need a hard stop instead of a soft goal, or if percentage-based budgeting has always felt too abstract to actually act on, this is the system built for exactly that problem. Next up in this series, the 50-30-20 rule, and specifically, what it looks like when you're budgeting on a low income and the standard percentages just don't fit. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you set up your first envelope this week, that's the whole system already working.